Hello everyone, it's Julia with Food is a Conversation Alumni Edition again. Yesterday we had an amazing, inspiring day with 24 hours on the regenerative food systems, on sustainability development goals, on so many inspiring topics and perspectives for our future. I would like you to invite you to watch all of the sessions what are now available online. And let me in the same time try to. So yes, yesterday was Food for Earth Day 2020 with so many inspiring presentations and conversations. And today's guest was actually hosting the session from the Netherlands. Um, Hi, Anna. I think we are looking at
Hi.
your front camera. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. All right, perfect. Welcome. Good morning.
Sorry.
I hope you did catch some sleep after
Good morning.
our 24-hour marathon yesterday. I was just telling the listeners about the videos, what now are all available on the YouTube channel of the Future Food Institute. And now back to business. Today is about alumni. During these sessions, we introduce former students of the Future Food educational programs, including the Food Innovation Master Program, the Climate Shaper boot camps, the summer schools. And we have twice a week a session where we introduce these people. We want you to see how what they are doing all over the world. Today we have Anna. Sorry, I call her Anna, but her name is Auriane Borremans. And we studied together in 2018 in Italy. We finished the Food Innovation Master Program. She is based in Belgium. And I would ask her to introduce herself now.
Yeah, hello everyone. So I'm Anna. Everybody's calling me Anna because Orion is very hard to pronounce, basically. I'm based in Brussels. I'm from Brussels. What I'm doing right now is I've opened a company a year and a half ago to support the big food companies in innovation and support them in processes of innovation, but also to inspire them with new product developments.
Very nice. So tell me, how did you end up in Italy?
Yeah.
What was the story behind Oriane coming to Reggio Emilia and then traveling all over the world?
Um, yeah, it's interesting. So I was living in US at that moment. I was working for a food company, and I was developing recipes for, product for chain of restaurant of there. So I was making food for Starbucks or airlines there. And living in US was very interesting experience. I mean, I've lived in US already before to study English actually. And then I came back, I think like 7 years after, and I had like this culture shock related to food. And having traveled a lot during my studies before, I felt like we had such a different way to consume food, to connect with food. And at that moment, I didn't want to continue working. I felt like I needed to inspire, to get inspired by stories, to get inspired by the future of food. I wanted to understand how we will feed the world if if we adapt our way to consume food with the US vision, and not to criticize US food consumption, but it was at that moment really shocking for me. And so basically one night I just type on Google food innovation studies, and I found the master.
Very
Yeah,
similar
that's
stories we
how
have,
it
I feel.
happened, and I hesitate a lot. Yeah, I think we can thank Google for that. But I used it a lot, and then I had a friend. She was like, but you have nothing to lose, basically. Just try it. And I didn't even believe in myself, like they will never accept me or anything. And then I just shared my stories and my vision of food, and then here I am in Reggio Emilia, in a very small town with 14 other students.
Yeah. So we had this amazing opportunity to travel throughout 15 countries and research certain topics. I remember myself standing in front of that whiteboard where we had the 4 topics listed and being hesitant between 2 topics. It took me 2 days till I decided I will go for agroforestry in smart cities. Were you sure about the topic what you wanted to research, and how did that change your view on protein consumption?
No, actually, so there was the food service also topic that I was interested in, because at that moment I really had this dream to open my restaurant. So I felt like that would be also interesting. But on the other hand, I also had this emotional link to meat related to my families who are butchers. And you actually can see a lot of pictures of the butcher company here.
Ah, nice.
And so somehow I felt like, okay, you have, it's the moment, we give you this opportunity to study the protein, so go for it. Yeah.
Nice. And what were the biggest learnings? What was very surprising for you, or you didn't expect? Or I still remember when in the Netherlands we went to a street food market and we tried insects the first time. Those facial expressions are priceless.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I think everybody remember that I was sharing my story that I was a butcher's daughter, and then I would never quit meat, never. But never say never, as a beautiful boy say. I mean, having shared this research with 2 other wonderful women and one vegetarian, including one vegetarian, Anusha, having discussed with vegan associations, having met Mark Post, who is a pioneer in vitro meat, having seen the meat in vitro was really, for me, something exciting. I was like a child seeing this meat, really. It really changed my mind on, okay, we are going to eat more vegetable proteins. We are not going to consume as much meat in the future. So I felt this need to better understand this future world, and to do that, the best way to do that was to actually experience it myself. And that's how I began to turn vegetarian, and it worked because now it's been a year and a half.
Wow.
I think, yeah, a year and a half now, and I'm alive.
That's great. Good to know. So this brings me actually to my next question. I practiced a bit. So you started an Instagram account, a channel where you are actually sharing your experience about vegetarian life. And this page is called Les Filles du Bûcher, which means, translates into the daughter of the butcher, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, it started the end of last year. I felt the need to actually share this story, because when I was sharing this story of me, a butcher's daughter, becoming vegetarian, everybody was first laughing, but then everybody was surprised. So that's how I decided to create this account to share this story and to give my expertise in the vegetarian diet. Also because I've also experienced as other vegetarian, these social boundaries, these social problems, also physical problems that I went through. Becoming vegetarian is not something that you have to. It's not like you just remove the meat of your plate. It is not working this way. So I had to learn how to become vegetarian. So I felt the need to actually share my expertise in this. Compared to other influencers who would share recipes, or you have influencers who are more activists in the vegetarian world. I am more this neutral person that I am the I'm butcher's daughter, so I will always defend meat if needed, if I feel necessary. But I also take the position that we are going to more plant-based diet.
I see. So unfortunately, like I still follow this account. I'm not understanding all of the content. Sometimes the picture speaks for itself. But you make this account in French, if I'm not mistaken. So what can the followers expect? So what are you sharing with them? Are those products? What exactly is how you try to help them?
Yeah, so I decided to do it in French because I mean, there's the French market too is very interesting, and I am very close to the behaviors, and I understand the product availability also. So I think it was better to actually target the French market, because also if I begin in English, like we all experience the vegetarian diet differently depending on what you have. What products do you have, the culture, etc. So I was closer to the French and Belgian culture. That's the first thing. So what was the second question? Oh yeah. So
What is the content what you are sharing?
They can expect some recipe, but it is not the main goal. The main goal is to I really want to make the vegetarian perception better. That's the first thing, is to remove this cliche of the vegetarian girl who is riding horses and I don't know, like wear bio t-shirts. I mean, it is not like that. We are not all like this. I'm not doing yoga. I'm doing boxing. I want to first remove the cliche. I want to. I'm providing also informations on the processed food in the vegetarian world. So if you have fake meat, I'm giving my expertise in the fake meat. How is it made? What is the sources? I'm also giving my expertise in the how to have unhealthy vegetarian diet, how to complement your proteins, for example. And yeah, I'm trying to really make this vegetarian movement more accessible to a lot of people, because today I feel it's more like a community that is hard to access, because it's like exclusive. You have to be part of this climate movement, or no, anyone can be vegetarian. Anyone can be vegetarian during one day, and that is great.
That's very useful. You also have a rather B2B project or company. So with the Instagram account, you are helping consumers, but I think they definitely need some guidance to make sure that they get the appropriate nutrition. But you're also helping the food industry and the players with your other company, Attention. Could you please tell me a bit about it? I saw that you posted an article about how you see the food industry evolving after the coronavirus phase. So I want to hear a bit more about this.
Yes. So basically, my mission with this Attention is really about inspiring food companies to change for a better future, for the planet, for the society, for the people, for the humans. And to change, big food companies sometimes need some triggers, and that's why I'm trying to give. either I'm doing inspirational talks, which I've done twice. It can be big food companies, but it can also be big retailers who would like to have an external vision of how would be the future of retail be. I'm also doing some recipe development, but that would be more like a side project. And yeah, that's it. And I'm also focusing more in big companies because I also believe that in today's world, the industry is really criticized, and we can criticize them. There's a lot of things that need to change. I agree, but somehow we also need to support them. And if we don't help them, we won't have a big impact. So that's the reason I'm focusing on that. My work is really on mission-based, and it's interesting because in the beginning of this COVID-19, there was such a big crisis. I needed to help them, to tell them how the consumer will behave, etc. And that was really hard to do. And then it was very calm. It was really like survival. All we need is to feed the people now. And now, like the last 2 weeks, it was about, oh my God, Anna, but how will it be now? Everything's changing now. How will we provide food to people? What do they want? What do they expect? How are they going to behave towards food? And that's now more my mission today. And I don't know, like recently, like last weeks, I had like 3 emails, and I was like, oh, but that's interesting because food companies are actually interested to change now.
Definitely. And I think they also need to, because we could experience this extreme change in consumption behavior. We know that consumers can be influenced by external circumstances. This was maybe a rather extreme one, but we can also expect this behavior to change. So they have to become more flexible. They have to become more ready for these kind of behavior changes and consumption patterns. That's for sure. So could you maybe tell us how did your consumption change during the last few weeks?
Well, I didn't start eating meat. How did it change? Well, no, I didn't change my consumption actually. I've been eating the same thing. I know a lot of people are changing the diet to try to be more immune, but to fight the virus. But okay, I don't believe in that. I believe in a healthy diet and I'll be fine. And also a good mental situation. I think mental makes a lot in our health situation right now. But I live in Brussels, really in the center of Brussels. So my only difficulties was to find fresh and good vegetables from the farmers. So I saw like a lot of consumers were shifting from like regular retailers to the organic shops. And so the organic shops couldn't supply this demand of all these people who wanted to have like fresher food or like were more conscious of this. And so they wanted to have healthier vegetables or more organic food. So I couldn't access my vegetable anymore. So what I did, I think it was beginning of last week, I took my bike and I went outside of Brussels. In 30 minutes, I rode to go to a farmer that was supposed to be on the market every Wednesday. And this time there was no more market. So I decided to go to the farm to get my vegetables. Because he couldn't, these farmers, sometimes they have difficulties with the technology. So he didn't want to go through all this like online sales. And so, but it's fine because there's a lot of people, and then we just like, communicate in the community that there's a farmer there that is supposed to be on our market, but it's not. So if you want, you can take your car and go to his place, and he's very happy because now we connect more. So
of course, definitely. So I just saw that someone asked you to talk a bit more about the report you published. So maybe we can go into that, and that's kind of also into the direction I wanted to ask you. How do you see the food industry changing now?
Yes, so I recently published a report on LinkedIn that everybody can see. It's a small report that I felt the need to actually share my point of view on how it's more about how the consumer will eat, more their connection to food. And I truly believe that one thing that I already mentioned is that we will see food more like a medicine, more than before, that's for sure. You know, we had this movement, this trend called better than healthy. We all want to be super woman, superman, and that's why we want to be ready for the next pandemic, or at least for this COVID right now. We will be in this world of uncertainty. We already are, and in the future we will be, because we will have to adapt to any situations. We don't know what's going to happen next. No one's know. All we know is we can suspect that it's going to be difficult. So I believe that the mass market will save money. They don't want to increase their debt. They want to save money, so they will shorten their budget and so go to lower cost food. Unfortunately, because they want to save more money in for the future. But on the other hand, you can also see another movement, which is less the mass market, more like premium market, who is going to go more into this organic food, closer to the farmer, more aware of the impact of consuming food on the planet, etc. So that's another movement. And also, I'm very curious how will be the future of restaurant. How will
Definitely.
it be? It's really that's really uncertain. I mean, we have seen what happened in China in a restaurant recently, that there were contaminated people in only one restaurant. We don't know why, we don't know how, because we actually don't know this virus is spreading. So how will the open kitchen be in the future? I mean, are we going to all wear masks? You know, today I'm very shocked of this street food or restaurant that I'm going to pick up my food sometimes there to support them, but they don't even wear masks when they are making the food. And I'm shocked, you know, I'm like, but no, I mean, no, like you're touching my food, you're touching my package, like, please, like, at least wear gloves and masks. So, yeah, it's, I'm really worried more about the restaurants. So I believe that we're going to be more into this catering, like the restaurant is going to come to us if we are not cooking. Also, a lot of people are saying also that, yeah, but we're going to cook more in the future. It's like, yeah, but not as much as today. I mean, we will go back to our comfort zone. We will go back to our little pleasure. So in France, they just reopened drive in McDonald's and all these fast food burgers. There was literally there was one example. There was half a kilometer of cars lining to get their food.
It's crazy.
So yeah, so we're looking still at our comfort food.
So this report, what Anna is talking about, was posted on your LinkedIn account. If I, So please, you can find Anna on LinkedIn.
Yeah. And also on the website of intention.com.
Perfect.
Exactly.
Also, relating back to this opening restaurant questions, a lot of them actually pivoted into becoming also retail stores, like selling the produce what they so far only supplied for preparing, but now they are selling these products to the consumers directly. I see here some opportunities, to be honest. I had this conversation with a chef from New York, and she said, no, but a few years ago, we already had these delis offering some special products like their special tomato sauce or the canned olives, what they have, but no one really wanted them. And then I highlighted, yeah, of course they didn't, because they couldn't manage their whole shopping there. It was only specialty products what you could get in the deli. But now this changed, and you could actually do your full shopping there. You can get eggs, you can get flour, sometimes you can even get toilet paper. Thinking about the Michael Berger Hotel in Berlin. So I think, and this is also a new platform of promoting producers. Very funny. I found an olive oil supplier through an account in Berlin who is actually supplying also in Hungary. So that's how I ended up ordering together with the local community here in my hometown. And now we are sharing the bigger amount. Otherwise, we couldn't get it to this town. But yes, we as consumers, we find way to get the produce what we want.
But
Maybe
it's interesting.
sometimes.
It's
Sorry.
interesting what you're saying because you know, with this groceries concept in restaurants, because yeah, a very good point. The Green Monday in Hong Kong is a good example of half restaurant, half supermarkets. But actually, the last years we had actually supermarkets offering some catering and
Restaurant
some
experience.
restaurant experience.
Yeah,
So now we're going to on the other way. So it's going to be actually intense business in the future. Like it's going to be a huge competition between retailers and restaurants.
exactly.
But what I want to say about the groceries, yeah. What I find interesting in a restaurant becoming grocery store or like micro grocery store is that is really this need for this storytelling and safety, you know, that
Yeah,
through a chef, through a restaurant that you already know, you trust the chef, you trust the restaurant that the
exactly.
quality of the food is good. And that's going to probably to be the challenge of the retailers and food brands to actually provide this story to the consumer to say, hey, I remind you that my product is this way, we source this way, etc. That's going to be also the future, is to remind people how do we produce the food and to teach the consumer how is the product produced. And if it's not well produced, they will have to rethink their process.
Yeah, definitely. I fully agree. So we are kind of approaching the end of our session. So I would like you, as a closing sentence, maybe share with us. I don't mind if it's not related to COVID-19, but how do you see your preferred future, food future?
Oh my God, that's a horrible question.
Oh, thank you.
uh, Sorry. Um, my preferred one. Um, I mean, I would love that we go more plant-based, for sure. More in a plant-based diet, more local food, yes, but sometimes we also, I mean, not. I don't want to go in extremes. That is not the future. Going extreme locals is not sustainable. We can always export, import, enjoy a coconut milk from Thailand. That's always, it's also, it's probably better to enjoy a good Thai dish from imported products from Thailand or I don't know where, than going to Thailand probably, maybe sustainably. So first, it's not going to extreme, so not extreme plant-based, not extreme locals, but also something that we a bit mentioned yesterday is the value of food that we need to reconsider. I hear too many times, oh, but that's too expensive.
Mhm.
I'm like, what? Like that is even probably too cheap. Like we have to. I really want that in the future we will really pay the right price for the product that we have in front of you. If you have a really good tomato from a local farmer that has put all his energy, plus the planet has put energy as well to grow this tomato, you should pay a price for it. And that's something that I really want to fight for in the future, is to pay the right price. Because, you know, I had a really interesting story recently with this farmer, and he was like selling like exotic fruits. And I was like, but you are like selling really great products from your farm, but you still like sell like bananas and, you know, like ananas. And so why do you do that? It's not related to your belief. And then he said, yes, but if I don't do that, then I cannot. I cannot feed myself. Like it's not sustainable for my business.
Mm.
I need to sell this product. No choice. So that's probably because the issue is that we don't realize that we are so lucky to pay a so cheap price for food.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe this should be not. I hope at once we can say we are not lucky because of that. Anna, thank you so much for all this inspiring information. And everyone, I would like to invite you to join our next alumni edition Food is a Conversation next Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. and Thursday, 8:30 a.m. like now. And besides that, go and check out Anna's and my session from yesterday from Food or Earth Day on the Future Food YouTube channel. I wish everyone a lovely day. Thank you, Anna.
Bye.
Bye.